Sacred family, fellow travelers into the beyond, this week, starting April 4th through April 10th, our sacred sun, our beingness, moves us into the light of the 51st ICHING, named shock, the cosmic energy that brings the unexpected, thunder and lightning, which activates the grounding force of the earth, what we see, the 57th I Ching, named the penetrating wind, the gentle, offering us an opportunity, a sacred mirror into a higher truth, a chance to meet a part of ourselves in a deeper way, to respond imaginatively, to evolve, to rise higher. So this week, we have a chance to meet or transform the shadow state of agitation and unease into the clarity and awakening. And it's through the path of being gentle with ourselves and following our intuition. Will you trust yourself? Will you trust the moment, this breath? Will you be gentle? Will you be soft in a moment of harshness? The key is to simply be where your feet are. Life begins where fear ends. Osho. In the original I Ching, this hexagram, this 51st frequency, is represented by a sudden flash of thunder and lightning. So it can be both disturbing and yet bring huge possibilities with it. This 51st I Ching is directly connected to the equinox and eclipse cycles. The ancient Kabbalists refer to it as tikkun, a correction, something that comes onto the path as a signpost that it's time for change, time to grow, evolve. So this solar transit activates the energy of self-empowerment, following your own intuition. It embodies the power to be one step ahead of the crowd, and often this power is ignited by a shock. These unexpected events can be the signpost of growth ahead and awaken you to a whole new direction, having the potential to move us this week out of the complacency of our safe cocoon. Shocking events have the potential to move us towards personal transcendence and deeper self-love, a deeper acceptance of what is. And the impact of a major shock can be debilitating or invigorating. Either way, it's a chance to deepen into our self-love. For example, you hear thunder unexpectedly. First comes the fear, then the sharpened vision. Can you remember a close brush with danger? Like jumping aside to miss being hit by a moving car, or a falling branch or object, or slamming on the brakes to avoid an accident, or pulling your hand back just in time to escape touching a hot surface? These events can trigger and awaken every nerve, every cell in the body, perhaps a brief wave of panic. So do you tend to think of shock only in terms of unpleasant? You can just as easily be shocked, shaken by the welcomed release of tension and exhilaration that comes with unexpected success. To keep our equilibrium in the aftermath of either trauma or victory, we learn to cultivate the conditions that allow for gentleness. We learn to meet shock with softness. This week's solar transit activates the shadow of agitation, of unease, which seems to be dormant a lot of the time, or its potential is dormant. It's kind of like when you first try to meditate. What a shock that is to the system. It's not as if when you close your eyes and relax, you suddenly find it easy, peaceful, or calm inside. We actually realize the terrible truth. We realize how screwed up we are, how crazed the mind is, leaping from one thought to the next, either projecting into the future or the past, and both don't actually exist, never giving us a break. But if we're brave enough to stay with the process, to explore deeper, we actually find that these patterns are connected to our emotional system as well. It's a tangled web in there, and it takes courage to plunge into the depths of our own agitation, unease, and discomfort. But this is where the journey begins. The wisdom that is found in this transformational path of the 51st I Ching shadow holds the secret that is needed for awakening. It offers us good tips on how to move through any of the 64 I Ching shadow patterns and their discomfort inside the body. You see, when we meet shock, discomfort, harshness seems to be our immediate pattern, and we meet it with harshness, which is the dilemma of this 51st I Ching shadow pattern. At the shadow level, we do one of two things. We either turn and run, in other words, we distract ourselves and we dive back into denial in some way or another and repress the pattern, or we try to fix the pattern, correct it. We tense up and we start to try to resolve it. Maybe we go to therapy or try yoga or meditation or psychoanalyze ourselves through the mind. This is a natural human tendency. We want to be free of something, so we try to fix it, solve it, and shrug it off. The ancient wisdom of the I Ching teaches us how to turn these 64 shadow states into our advantage instead of being their victim. There are two ways through this dilemma. You either wait it out, in other words, you just sit with the sensation and observe the pattern. You outweight the pattern in loving awareness. So you observe yourself observing it. You watch the mind struggle and struggle until eventually your mind spontaneously gives up, and then the sun comes out. This is the Buddha's approach. And there's another approach, which is to use the energy and direct it outwards in a creative direction. So following your creative intuitive impulses, connecting to your body consciousness, learning to trust the body. You simply be where your feet are. But initially, this could be intense. So observe and be aware of harshness. At times of intense change, the quality most needed and the secret to transcend all the 64 shadow patterns is gentleness of water, the softness and stillness, where the chirping birds are. So the million-dollar question is, how do we make that huge internal transition from agitation and unease to the clarity and awakening? So picture with me an hourglass. On one end, you have the shadow state, and on the other end, you have the city, the higher state. And in the middle, you have the narrow neck, which is the path, the way to alchemize the shadow. Now, from the shadow state, you appear locked in the glass, trapped. You feel trapped by the endless cycles of agitation, unease, and discomfort. But when you look at everything from the other end, from the city vibration, the higher realms, then time itself dissolves. You experience the limitless, the inner knowing that you are eternal. And what is interesting is the two places where the path to awakening are the same for everyone are the shadow and the city vibration. So it's only unique in the middle, the gift vibration, which is the path to alchemize the shadow and raise the vibration, the neck of the hourglass. And it's a narrow path. It's your path through your human suffering. And the one thing we can all say about it, it's utterly unique. It's your individual unique path to awakening. It's divinely guided. It hasn't been walked before. It heads out to the wilderness of the inner planes, your inner world. So guides can sometimes be a distraction. Guides, teachers, and teachings can be a great indicator of truth. They can be an inspiration. They can encourage us. But no external teacher or teaching can indicate the way for you, your path. Now, the teaching, the wisdom I'm offering you, the I Chings, don't offer you a path. They lay out the matrix. They offer you a mirror. And that is what the master is. He or she is a mirror of truth. But they cannot direct you. They can only encourage you to find your way. So the key here is to find your courage to trust in the direction of your feet. It's about deepening into that trust, which is the dilemma here of the 57th ICHING shadow. You see, trust is a vast energy field, and you may not have known or thought of trust as an energy field, so consider it. If trust is an energy field, then it's something that we can rise into. It's something we can inhibit. And of course, it's something we can fall out of. In the shadow state, we fall out of trust. And at the gift level, we rise into the field of trust. So how do we do that? Through listening to our intuition. What is intuition, you may ask? Well, it's magical. It's the whispers of our spirit. It's part of us that just knows, that trusts the whole. It's a sacred thread left by God to help us out of the labyrinth. And yes, it's a dilemma because we have to trust in it, to find the trust. And a great deal of the time, we hear our own intuition, but we don't follow it. But that's how we learn, gradually, as we pull ourselves out of the shadow state. So as we gain the courage of taking the initiative, following our intuition, the unknown path, the path that hasn't been walked before, the path begins to appear. And so trusting your intuition means letting go and trusting your 2 feet, where life is lived, where the body is leading you. The mind just needs to get out of the way. You find your own creative way through the shadow. You must go into agitation and unease. You must get to know it. You must create a softening around it, the spaciousness. You must trust in the discomfort. Learn to yield to the energy, to the shadow, and make it your friend. Learn to drink tea with it. So try it out. Go within yourself. Locate a problem, a life situation. It won't take you long. We all have them. Instead of worrying about it, lean into it with softness. Trust it. Feel the energy of it. Connect to the sensations in the body. Let it flood your DNA and listen to it. And then allow your intuition to penetrate the problem and be creative. Allow all possible solutions to emerge, to come to you. Claim that it's already done, the highest good of all. Let your intuition guide you. How does it feel in the body without this life situation? Soften into it and be it, and allow yourself to be led. Awakening is a series of softenings. The secret that awakens our sacred heart is to cultivate the conditions that allow the gentleness of water, the softness of stillness, the silence of the birds chirping. It's to ground into our inner authority, to live from the inside out. It's to build a relationship with yourself, with your body consciousness, balancing our yin and yang. It's a love affair with the body. It's the deep knowing that life is the body and treating the body like a temple. This guidance, this connection allows you to adapt to the nature of any shock, disorder, or discomfort that may confront you. And as travelers into the beyond, we thrive in the unexpected, in shock. We know it's an opportunity to unlock a deeper truth, to unearth illusions, emotional, mental, or physical blocks. It's an invitation to rise higher, to see beyond the veil, to dance with divine will, a chance to refine our embodied truth, to simply be at our feet. Life begins where fear ends. Osho. Remember, love yourself and choose to be blessed.